Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Israelite Women's Advanced Bible Study, the 1st of December, 2022. I'll be reading out of the book of Isaiah. Got a point I want to make in this. Chapter 37, 38, and 39. Okay. Asking everybody to go to our YouTube channel, our video section, to Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. A lot of information is given, and the videos will connect dots for you and bring you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures tonight. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that don't know, this is the non-Messianic channel. By that I mean we deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, first 5 books of the Old Testament. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our Women's Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms, a little women's help, and then we do some current events, some need to know information, and then we'll do a Q&A. Then we'll go into the topic in the Bible reading out of Isaiah. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance from the land of our captives. Oh, we come before thee at this hour, praising you and honoring you because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, a position in which the Creator Yahweh has given unto thee. And through your spirit and your counsel, O Lord, we have awakened. We have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. We are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching your scriptures out that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. Lord, I pray to thee that you continue to let your light shine down upon us in spirit and in truth. We love you and we seek you daily, O Lord. There is none else besides thee to redeem us. We see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await for your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. Long. So I'm going to read the Psalms right quick. Unless somebody else want to read one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read Psalm 27. Okay. Okay, it says, the Lord is my light and this is Psalm 27, the Lord is my light and my salvation. This is Psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fail. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he had hid me in his pavilion, in the secrets of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God, of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in the plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had I had fainted unless I had excuse me, believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Okay, that was Psalms 27, and it's the Lord is my light and my salvation. It's a Psalm of David. Anybody have comments on it? Okay, so uh we're gonna enter into our little women's health moment. Okay.
Hi, shalom, everyone. I'm going to talk about the incredible health benefits of elderberries. Elderberries are a fruit that has been used throughout history for their medicinal properties. In fact, in the olden days, they were often one of the first remedies prescribed to help treat cold and flu symptoms. But unlike many folk remedies, these berries have been proven time and time again to live up to their medicinal reputation and have an incredible amount of health benefits that you should know about. Elderberries, also known as black elderberry plant or sambucus, they are known for their deep purple black color, which is where they get the name black elderberry. Elderberries can reach up to 2 inches in length and are found on the elder tree during the summer. They are once annually bloomed. They have a tart flavor that resembles cranberries, but elderberries are also notable for the fact that they have an earthy, slightly bitter flavor. Elderberries are packed with key nutrients like vitamin C, zinc, iron, beta carotene, folic acid, and vitamin B12. Elderberries has been used for centuries. In fact, it is thought that the first use was to help heal wounds and as an antiseptic due to its antibacterial properties. Okay. Elderberries help boost kidney and urinary health. It also can help protect your heart. It lowers your blood glucose. Elderberry also reduces inflammation. However, the most powerful benefits from elderberries come from its work in your immune system. Okay. Elderberries is safe for most people, including children and pregnant women, and has no known clinical side effects. That's right. Elderberries have no known clinical side effects, and all the nutrients that they give you are ones that your body craves already. There are different there are different ways that you can take elderberry, including fresh, as juice, as a jam, or an extract, as a syrup, or in tea. So there's no reason not to add elderberries to your diet. I'm going to read Genesis 1, verses 11 and 12. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. That was Genesis 1, verses 11 and 12, and that was the benefits of elderberries.
Okay. Appreciate that. Oh yeah.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Hallelujah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Can I add
see.
on to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember this. Gardening has so many benefits, both physically and mentally. Start small and plant what you can personally handle. Do not overwhelm yourself or get discouraged. Whether you want to plant a flower garden, a vegetable garden, a herb garden, or just a mixture of everything, remember the five principles and you can create beauty all around you.
Okay.
All
Appreciate
right,
that
hallelujah.
information.
Thanks.
That's right. I'm a gardener myself.
Okay. Yeah. I'm working on one.
I'm a country boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on one myself. Last year was my first year. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I noticed when you said that elderberry was a fruit. That kind of stuck out to me. All right. So let's go into the current events.
Oh, and then also with elderberry, you can dry it out and put it in your smoothies, make teas if you start feeling sick. It's really good.
Right.
Okay.
I have some now. I keep on hand.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I know some guys down the street from me. They make it. I get it from them.
That it is a conspiracy theory behind it. They met off the coast island of Georgia. They met off the coast and some other individuals to come up with a way where they could take control over the monetary policies of America. The Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the United States Constitution. It states in the United States Constitution that Congress shall hold the right to print the money and so forth and so on. But who is the Federal Reserve? They have nothing to do with America. They are a gangster group, a third party who came in and they took over these banking systems from Europe, and then they gradually moved into the rest of the planet. By the time they got to America, that's when 1913 came along with the passing of the Federal Reserve Act. And once that happened, all of the power to print money, coin money, etc., turned over into the Federal Reserve and no longer Congress. It used to say a silver certificate at the top of the dollar. It said silver certificate, meaning, oh, this is backed by silver. Okay. Or it was backed by gold.
Right.
Okay. But it switched to federal organization that uses it to control the planet. That's what that is about. Hence why the economy is so high. They use war to make money. But if they use the war to make money, then the dollar goes further into debt, therefore having less worth, higher inflation. So what a dollar's worth today ain't nothing. It's nothing compared to what it was back then.
Yeah.
You know, America currently on Wall Street, they're saying it's a little over $22-23 trillion in debt. Well, no, that's not true. They're not adding in Medicaid, Medi-Cal, all those things, the IOUs that they have for all these other nations. America's over $70 trillion in debt, and it's growing every day. They're printing millions every day, which means you print more, the money becomes less and less and less and less and less valuable. That's why also people need to start looking at gold, hence why gold is so high right now.
Yeah, all time high this week.
You know what I'm saying? All time high. Silver is going up, even though some people say, I don't buy silver, but the pre-1933 silver coins in particular, you should be, those become completely obsolete. At the point like it got over in Europe where they were having piles of it in the middle of the street. You know, they was burning, you know, smoking cigars lightly with the money. I know some of y'all like, man, it ain't gonna happen. Listen, bro. they're talking about this economic gap because of the pandemic. Nearly 40 million people weren't employed just a couple months ago in America. So you're going to give a stimulus check to 40 million people. You're not going to give $10 to 40 million people. You see what I'm saying? So you're giving millions, billions, trillions that you don't have to people who are not working, and then you shut it down again, which is why, you know, Trump and everyone else wanted to open it up. They're like, listen, it don't matter if people get sick. Either we going down economically or we going down physically and health wise. We got to choose one. So they'd rather open up the economy, let some people get sick and die, but to allow us the economy to thrive and survive because it is upside down. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. So, but it all started again with the national banking families of Europe, and then of course pushing for war to make more money, sending people to die, more war, more money, more.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters.
Et cetera, and that is what it has been since 1930.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people might not realize, like you said, that the Federal Reserve Bank is not a government agency. No. It's just Fed. It's like literally. It's like FedEx. Like it's just like, you know what I'm saying. Like you would just automatically think it's federal. You would
anybody who's dealing with economics. I mean, this is the important game they could give you is to understand the difference between the Federal Reserve and the government when it comes to money, the monetary system. That's why Bitcoin is so important. Some people talk about that. The economists in America will say all kinds of crap because it's not controlled. It's a universal currency. You can't control it. You can transfer it anywhere. So they're like, no, it's bad because we want y'all to stick with the American dollar. Nah, hell no, player. We know what's going on with that dollar. That dollar's gone. That's done for. Okay, so now you have to look at other forms of currency and be very wise about looking at other currency, investing in other currency, and moving your money around. Really, y'all gotta start pulling your stuff out the bank. In a minute, I ain't trying to go against what y'all. I don't just try to know the Federal Reserve or any of its banks.
Yeah, no, you know what? You know what? A, I don't know if people notice, but there's a shortage of coins.
Yeah, that's been all over. Yeah.
And B, the bank thing is interesting because it's like, all right, what's the odds of bank having not enough money until they don't have enough money? Because
people start taking their money.
In Greece a few years ago, they shut the banks down. They to stop on ATM run because people was trying to. So it's like, it's the FDIC insured, so you could literally only take up to a certain amount, and then they gotta actually order other because there's regional banks for the Federal Reserve. Like there's Federal Reserve regional banks like St. Louis, New York, LA. Like there's different regions, so they have to order the money, and then this is kind of a more involved conversation, but that kind of goes with the interest rates, right? Because they charge the regular retail banks money to actually borrow. So when they lower the interest rates, or when they raise the interest rate, it all comes into play.
Make money off your money.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the things that was. I mean, a lot of people said that to us. And hopefully people get the message, but that money to work.
You gotta put it to work.
You have to, and let it make money for you. You know, that's where the invested assets come in. Own something that builds in its value, increases in its worth. That's what we have to look at. Again, most of the people in the hood, y'all like, look, I got 40. What can I do with this? That's why we have to now pull our resources. We don't have a choice, bro. We have to practice group economics. There is no choice here. There's none. Most of the people in the hood don't have $200 to their family. And I know it may sound crazy for some people. It's like, no, seriously. Even the money that we do have, we're spending it in the wrong direction. But we have to now look at, okay, what can we afford to put in a pot, depending on what hood we from. The hoods, y'all got to come together and start putting money in the pot, whatever crib hood, blood hood, essays, whatever, and start putting your dollars together so everyone can work a little and no one have to work a lot, and then you can start buying up things.
You know, it's crazy. Really I feel like we're the only people that have to be convinced about group economics because everything else. Because I went to this Indian wedding. A friend of mine's Indian. It's my first time going to an Indian wedding, so it's a whole week experience. If you ever been to an Indian wedding, it's like, and he was Sikh, so they had like it was like a whole thing. So the long story short is like where he lives in New Jersey, like that's where like the whole town is all Sikhs, and they have an interesting thing where they own like motels. They own like 100 motels. get for the next person to come and hotel. They hotel,
Listen,
and then the other people give them money to start their hotel. When they get enough money, they pay it back, and then it's like a whole thing that they just run it back again. So I see that in other cultures, and it's just like it's interesting to me because that's group economics.
that's group economics.
But for us, it's still something that we kind of have to really be convinced in. And so, how that mindset and really move and to make it normal, like make group economics normal.
One, it has to be promoted, and it has to be talked about more by those of us that practice it in a positive way. We gotta brag about that. Like, yeah, bro, I put my family on. Like I said this way, this book was edited. It was written by me, black man. Then it was edited by black woman. Then my product manager, black woman, which is my sister. Then her two sons, they are employed as the packagers. So we employed them. Then I have my mother, and I have, I think, two cousins who also work for me. I employ my own family. Women, people are building on something else now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. I'm not playing no games out here.
Okay. Any comments on that?
What coin did he say it kind of went out?
He said the silver dollar coin.
Did he say he didn't say a particular year?
I think it's 75.
1975?
Right. Yeah, the name of the video is The Fall of the American Dollar.
Okay, because it was cutting out on when it was getting good. That was the hijack. But he was right. He was right. We should, start buying. Gold is expensive. At least start buying silver.
Right. Okay.
You heard what I heard. I was in the matrix the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta figure out what that is going on. I cleared out a lot of stuff out of the computer. Gotta figure out what that is. Okay. Good. Yeah, I wanted to say something about this video before we watch it. This is where as well. A lot of people, black folks, are at today when it comes to us saying that we the black Hebrew Israelites and all this pertaining to it. And then check out this guy's take on what he think about it. And you should be expecting the church to come out at the Israelites here real soon too.
Man, I've been dealing with that for the last 4 or 5 days. Addressing this topic, with a few Christians, about us being Israelites.
Friends, I wrote a theme called Taken Back from the Devil that we use in our congregation. And I am hoping that I can encourage all gospel preachers to use this theme in their congregations so that the whole world will know that the churches of Christ are working together to tear the synagogues of Satan down. I hope that even the members of the churches of Christ and other members that would hear this theme would ask their preachers to use it, not constantly, but just use it to let the people know that we are working together to tear the synagogues of Satan down. Our lesson for today is the Black Hebrew Israelites. The Black Hebrew Israelites. My friends, there's a thing going on around now that people need to understand about this particular religious group. My friends, I wrote this lesson in hope of informing the entire world concerning some groups of religious people who are calling themselves the Black Hebrew Israelites. My friends, the critics in Israel label the Black Hebrew Israelites a cult. They call it a cult, my friends. My hope is that we will not stand by and allow any members of our family to be misled by these blind leaders. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14, Paul said, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness whereby they do lie in wait to deceive. We was warned even by the Bible that there are going to be people coming into the world, into the church, teaching things just to deceive other people. Cult leaders and their gang members are some of the most manipulative and dangerous people in the religious world. We must never forget what happened in Jonestown, Guyana in 1978, where a cult leader caused over 900 people to commit suicide. My friends, when you start talking about people that's in cults, we have to be very careful about what we're doing and what we're hanging around with. My friends, we must never forget that in 1993, the most tragic incident in America history, in America religious history, where in Waco, Texas, a religious group leader led 76 people to their death by a man who was exerting power over his followers. That man caused those people to kill themselves because they believed what he was teaching them. And that was here in America. That was not over in Russia or someplace. That was right here in America, right down the freeway from where we live. My friends, the Black Hebrew Israelites cult leaders demand that their members adapt a Hebrew name to replace their birth name, which they say could have derived from slavery. And they manipulate the minds of their members to believe that they are the only people that God will accept into heaven. Don't that sound just like what they did when they had those people wearing these bombs and killing themselves, making them religious promises of heaven? And my friend, we're doing the same thing, and this has happened right here in America. Matter of fact, there's a culprit down the street from where we go to worship at, right here in North Little Rock. In Acts chapters 10, verse 34 and 5, the Bible said, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. I had the privilege one time to sit down and talk with two of these people in this particular cult. And I talked with them right at our home. And they talked real good until we started talking about God will accept all nations. I said, man, read these verses. And they were strange to see these verses was even in their Bibles. They read them out of their own Bibles. I said, how can y'all let a man teach y'all that only one nation of people are going to be saved when the Bible that y'all study from teaches that God will accept any person that fear him and work his righteousness. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 15, verse 13 and 14, but he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, Jesus said both shall fall in the ditch. When a person teach you that this is the only church we can be saved in, and they can't read it in the scripture, my friend, those folk are wrong. And when people come up with new names that they want to call their religious place of worship, they have really stepped outside of the word of God. And that have happened real bad in our religious world. There's a lot of religions that call themselves everything but the Church of Christ. My friends, the Bible said, let those people alone. They are blind leaders of the blind. And the end result is they both will be lost. In Acts chapter 4, verse 10, the Bible said, be it known unto you all and to all the people of Israel. I try to get those Israelites that I was talking with to listen to that verse very carefully. The Bible said that by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whom you have crucified, whom God raised from the dead, even by him doeth this man stand you before you whole. Peter said in verse 11, this is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, and which had become the head of the corner. That, my friends, the Bible make it plain, regardless of who talk about building a church or building a religious organization. The Bible said there's no other name you can call it. There's no name under the sun that can bear the word salvation in it unless it is the church of our Lord. Paul said it again in 1 Corinthians 3, verses 10 and 11. According to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and others build thereupon. But let every man take heed how to build thereupon. In verse 11, Paul said, for other foundations can no man lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. So if you lay a foundation, that foundation is going to be the name of the entire building. If you can remember, in America, when they built the Sears Tower, the first thing they did was they dug way down into the earth, and they poured a big old large concrete block, and they called that block a foundation. And when they finished building that building, they put some antennas on top of it, and they called those antennas on the top of the Sears Tower. Everything about that building was named Sears. But they never did marry. My friends, these people can tell you who to marry, who not to go along in their lives. But Corinthians 7, verse 1 and 2 to the Corinthian church, he said, now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to marry people. And in order to avoid it, people need to marry. We're having too many children these days because of fornication. So we need also to teach our children to avoid fornication, because the Bible teaches that, my friends. All one in Christ Jesus. When we
Okay. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I got something to say.
Right.
And no, this cat didn't just sit here and put us in the same category as Jim Jones and his coat.
Yeah, he did.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
But check this out, though, right? He say that about like it's a problem for us to believe that only certain people are going to be saved, right? But he's a member of the Church of Christ. Well, so
Right.
I used to be. I used to be a member of the Church of Christ from the same place that he is, from North Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
So anyway, now he talking about some how we believe on certain people going to be saved. Now, as Church of Christ, they believe that if you're not baptized in the Church of Christ, you're not going to be baptized. I mean, I'm sorry, not be saved. So they only believe that Church of Christ members are going to be saved, and that's why a lot of other denominations and non-denomination Christian congregations they had problem with us being Church of Christ members because of what we taught. I was in Church of Christ, man, for 30 years in Christianity. I was in Baptist for 10 years, so spent about 40 years in Christianity. But that's crazy anyway. Just to point that out.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
You know, it's sad, but he does have a point because there are some groups, I'm not going to say no names, but they do act like cults and they give us a bad rap.
Right.
And they call
Yeah,
themselves Hebrews.
I
Right.
agree.
Exactly.
They doing the most.
It's a lot of
Right.
camps out there. Yeah, they make us look bad. You're right.
Yeah, and they, and like I said, and then they believing in the JC character.
Right.
Man, it's
Mhm.
just I can't take it.
Right.
He's
Man,
like
And it,
one of those wicked. What's that verse, you guys? What scripture's that where it talks about the wicked uh pastors that's gonna lead our people astray?
uh, got to be
I,
more specific.
I was trying to find it. I thought might have been in Hosea, but it was talking about where the shepherds, where the Most High, he was like really pissed off at the
Yeah, I know what
Levites.
you're talking about. Yeah, I think I
Huh?
know. Yeah, I think I know. I think it's in Isaiah somewhere. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Anybody got any more comments? Yeah, I'm gonna find that verse.
yeah, they
Anybody?
make us. Yeah, they make us look bad, man.
Right.
I agree. I agree with this sister saying. You know,
Right.
I was Messianic Israelite when I first came into this thing,
Right.
only for a couple months. But I got up
Okay.
out of there, man. I got up out of there real quick, because I realized that after coming out of Christianity, man, and I was in Messianic Israelite for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and I
Right.
started I started really digging deep, man, into the Tanakh, man, and
Uh-huh.
I started to realize that the Messianic belief, man, to me is too similar to Christianity, and
Right.
I quickly realized that this JC character, man, nah, he was non-existent. And so when I brought that to the brothers, man, they kicked me up out of there, man. They kicked me and my
Okay.
family out of the congregation.
Okay. Is that so?
I know they did.
They removed us quick. Yeah,
Is that so?
yeah, so man.
Yeah, and then like we talked about last night. It's an old ancient trick. It's an old trick. Soon as we make one adjustment, they make another one.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so you got to be weary of that. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
they've been doing it
Oh
forever
yeah,
and a day. And they got so many people that they got on their side, you know.
absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like it too. I started off with the purple and gold. So I was with
Okay.
them. So
Okay.
I saw it. Yeah, I was with them for like 6 months. I was like,
Are you out
no,
there? Wow.
uh-uh. And then,
Okay.
yeah, but then because I wasn't going along with their program. So, and then it just made me, get in the word and study for myself. And
That's
then
right.
that's when I was like, whoa, yeah, because that's I think it's a stepping stone, maybe,
That's, that's
Yeah, it's
right.
a process. It's
The
a
process. Yeah,
process.
that's right. That's why I say to people. Yep. Yep. So
Right.
it's like it was a phase, you know what I'm saying? So phase out of Christianity to Messianic
Right.
Israelite, you know what I'm saying,
Exactly.
to Tanakh only,
Right.
Yeah. So
And that's that you're able to help other people because of that process, because
that's right.
you're not hard on them because at one time you were there.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I tell my cousin, man, look, we can't bash Christians too much, man, because we spend most of our life in Christianity,
Exactly.
you
Right.
know.
Right. Right. I don't know if everybody's seen that movie yet. That sudden died suddenly.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched it last night, man.
Oh yeah,
Oh
man.
man,
That's
it was sad,
summertime.
man.
Summertime right there.
Yeah, it was sad to me.
Right.
Like, wow,
And
man.
right. What that
Hey, but
reminds me of, go ahead, go ahead.
I noticed one thing though, when they was showing the autopsies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the black people. I mean, I seen a bunch of white folk and then
Right.
Asian people that were dropping dead.
Right. You're right.
You
I
know
saw
what I'm
that
saying?
too. I saw that too.
Yeah.
Right. Ain't that something?
So the shot taking
What I
more
got
time
out
than
of
taking the blood in it.
right. Yeah, what I got out of that was it's no difference in that than, you know, people not understanding where we at, and we at the end. So why is it that the black folks waking up and going toward the Tanakh, going toward the Old Testament now? So that mean that should register in people's head, you know. And then another one is the same way that people was warning everybody about that jab. You know, look at the end result. What's going on now? It's the same thing with this Old and New Testament. You're being warned. You know what I'm saying? It's not all this stuff not
That's
coming
right.
to the head now. And it's not just happen to happen now. It's because we're at the end. The Lord of hosts told us in the latter days. So it's all coming to a head now. Yeah.
Did you notice how they was spinning around and looking up,
Yeah.
and then they
Right.
would drop?
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yep.
I was
It
gonna
looked
say
like
that.
they was looking at something. I was like, man, they
Right.
probably see one of those angels.
Right.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's something going on with that too. Like I said, they spin. They spin around and they looking up. And then another one too,
Yeah, that was
they
weird,
start
man.
tweeting. They start tweeting.
That's right. That was weird.
I was talking to somebody else, I think it was yesterday. It reminded me of, you know, when you're looking at the stuff they pulling out of that's clogging their blood up. It reminded me of on Alien. You know how they had an egg and it be closed up. Then
Oh yeah.
people get up to it, it open up, and that look like a crawfish or whatever it is, a crab come out of there and then it injects something into their body, then the thing die.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the actual human become the host because it's feeding off of them until they get to where what it's gonna do. Then it leaves. Then the person die. I mean, the person just laying there dead. That's what it kind of. I don't know why it was. It kind of that's what it did to me when I was looking at it. And I don't know if anybody saw this other video maybe a couple of years ago when the jab first came out. It was on True News, and they had a doctor on there had a microscope, and he was showing. You know, we had one of the vials, and he was showing it was something in there moving in there.
That's what I was gonna say. Did you guys see that last night? That thing was moving when he pulled it out. And I think they just don't want to alarm people.
Right.
Because it looked like it was moving. I was like, whoa.
Right. Yeah. But it goes back to how they played everything down from back in the beginning. People was doctors and different people was warning back then. But like I said, a lot of people didn't catch that. But now we see what that was all about.
They put their trust in man. That's what happened.
Right. Exactly. Right. And another thing too, I was talking about how we had the class and the dialogue on the Hebrew boys like Daniel and Dave and all them. We know now that there was men of color, of African descent, you know, with color in them, and so nobody now, after all that's been done to us as a people, nobody wants to hear what these men got to say. But when you go back in time, they were the voices. So now all of a sudden they coming out warning you, but they're not being heard. When they're the original prophets and the original men that was the Melchizedeks and all that was warning the people back in the day. That's what Nebuchadnezzar got his understanding from Daniel, a young black Hebrew boy, and Cyrus. They got their understanding of Pharaoh. They got their understanding from young Hebrew black men, boys.
Right. I was watching a
Nebuchadnezzar said
video
he
on
looked at
that
them
today.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. I was watching a video about that today, where they was talking about the black woman, right? And
Right.
they were saying that the black woman would rather listen to the white man, the Hispanic man, the Asian man before they listen to the black man. They said, but when the poop really hits the fan, it's the black man that's gonna save them, because
Right.
the white man, Hispanic, and Asian man ain't gonna be thinking about them.
Right.
But we will listen to them before we listen to the black man.
Right. Let me read this right quick, because is is talking exactly about what we're talking about right now, and because of JC and all that, people can't perceive it for what it's saying. So they always want to know who it is that Isaiah 53 talking about. So, but if you go to Isaiah 52, you're gonna see this is what we're talking about right now. It says Isaiah 52, last three verses, 13, 14, 15, says, behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. As many as astonished at thee, his vesties were so marred, more than any man, and his form more than the sons. See that? Sons of men. So who the sons of men? All these other nations, all these other men. And when you understand that he's talking to the nation of Israel, he's using he and singular because they came from Jacob. He wrestled with Jacob. So when he's talking about the nation of Israel, he always using singular. So 15, we're gonna see who it is. So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him, for that which he had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. So ain't but one person that's doing sprinkle. You can go any Buddhist temple, any temple you want to go to. Only in the Hebrew culture is where the Israelites sprinkling people, the Levites. But they didn't set the whole world on the wrong course because they not listening to those men. They didn't denigrate them. But he says right here, we know at one time they was on high. They came down, but he says right here in verse 13, behold, my servant, Levi, he brought him to himself. All the priesthood, Aaron, all them, he brought him to himself. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently, and he shall be exalted. See that? And extolled and be very high, replaced, put back where he was at. That's what they're saying. But the average Israelite can't read that, right? Because he got JC all up in his head. Okay? Ain't that something? Okay. Anybody got any more comments on that? Yeah, so I got a video right here, some need to know information. I'm gonna play that and then we'll
This information I'm about is happening. Um, times more than the average American from guns. Ain't that something? Now, there were some statistics shown on their video that they did decades ago that showed that 85% of the gun related incidents that happened among so-called black people was that the majority does happen within the group, right? But our focus has to be on black because that's what the whole world focuses on. I don't think the only time I've ever heard of the term white on white is when we started talking about it ourselves, saying that there are those within that group that take each other out. You have each other out. You have Arabs who take each other out. When we started, that's the first time I heard of it. But I'm not saying that that's the first time it's ever been stated. But that's the first time I heard of it when we started to talk about it and bring out that point. So the issue here being black on black, KRS-One did try to warn us, and I want to share with you what they are talking about in this article here. Now, this is according to a study. Now, I told y'all that they study us. We are studied. The CIA and the FBI have been said to study us, and whatever initials that are out there, everyone is studying so-called black people. And there's a very spiritual reason why. I'm not going to get into that right now. I want to go into the article. It says gun deaths have reached a 28-year high. A 28-year high, y'all. A 28-year high. That's something else. And the homicide of black men is 9 times that of the overall death by firearm rate in America. That's really sad. That is truly sad, y'all. The study was published on Tuesday, November 29th in JAMA Network Open, a new online only open access general medical journal. Okay. Researchers review 1.1 firearm deaths from 1990 to 2021. During the last 3 decades, okay, the gun has homicides were up 22.5% among young black men, the most among any racial group. Those ages 20 to 24 are impacted the most, with 142 homicides per 100,000 young black men on that group. It's a problem, medical experts said, has gotten worse during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Eric Flieger is one of the study's authors and a pediatric emergency physician and researcher with Boston's Children's Hospital and Harvard Medical School. At this moment in time, we have seen a dramatic increase that is really unparalleled. Okay. During the time of the C-19 pandemic, from 2019, going up from 2019 to 2021, we've seen over a 25% increase in fatalities in 2 years alone. That has never happened. So that is very disturbing, y'all. I don't care what y'all say. That's disturbing to me. It's a very, very disturbing fact. So some of you are called. It was an album or a song called Self Destruction. Okay, a lot of people together pretty much saying, "Hey, let's stop violence." A number of people collaborated. Again, um, if I remember, I can drop the link to this. It's on YouTube here. Listen to the words. Listen to it. So very prophetic, y'all. To our people, right? I'm not saying the brother's a prophet. I'm just saying the words were prophetic. Verse, right? Okay, so when we think about bad disparities, we're often thinking about a 20% increase or a 50% increase with infant mortality in the United States. When you look at black infants versus white infants, there's over a twofold difference in mortality rates. So look at that death alone. The infants and the young men, older men from disease, it's really, really very telling what is going.
Okay. Any comments on that? Yeah, I'm gonna read a verse right here. I'm gonna read a verse out of Deuteronomy. It says, let me get it. yeah, 63, 28, 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked up from off the land, and the land whither thou goest to possess it. And 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. But we see right here, he said, just like he rejoiced over us to do us good, but he told Abraham, he told Isaac, and he told Jacob that he was going to multiply them by the sand, and to the sands of the sea. You ain't gonna be able to. There's gonna be more of them than the sands of the sea and stars in heaven. So he brought that to pass, and then they sinned against him, and now what we're looking at is just like he said, he rejoiced over us to multiply us. He rejoiced over us to bring us to naught, to reduce us. And that's where so many people going wrong at. They're not understanding that it's, what our forefathers did, and we still dealing with that until the time of Jacob's trouble is over with. And we keep nicknaming. Okay, there's something. So with that being
Brother
said, I was
Leonard,
gonna open. Go ahead.
Brother Leonard, could you read Malachi chapter 2, 1 through 9?
1 through 9.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, said the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings, yea, I have cursed them already because ye do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it, and ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, said the Lord of hosts. My covenant was with him. See the him? That covenant shall be with him of life and of peace. And I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me and was afraid before my name. The law of the truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they shall seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, says the Lord of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. Okay, that's a good example. Okay, that ties right in with what I just read in Deuteronomy. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And Isaiah 52, 13 through 15. Okay, and that, like I said, so many people don't understand that. He took the Levites from among the Israelites. He took them to himself. He's only, he only dealt with 11 tribes. Levi was brought to him. Okay, yeah. Appreciate that. So, okay, anybody got any? I'm opening up for some Q&A, questions, comments about anything that we've been talking about over the last week or so, or anything you saw on YouTube. You want to bring it up? Can conversate about it? Any questions? Okay, I got it. Somebody got something? Yeah. So, I was noticing, I was looking at how this thing with Ghana came out of the blue, out of nowhere. First of all, they came up with this HR 1242, this 400-year thing, and then everybody started flocking to Ghana, and you know, to the point to where it's at now. We got a bunch of people leaving. But I want to show you this right here that, you know, like I said, these people been plotting and scheming for a long time. I never even know about this, but I'm gonna play it. Then we'll talk about it. If anybody have any comments or questions.
I grow. Black as the night is black. Black like the depths of my Washington. I've been a worker. Under my hand, the pyramids arose. I made mortar for the Woolworth building. I am a Negro. Black as the night is black. Black like the depths of my Africa.
For white Americans, Africa has always been seen in images of travel and adventure, savage natives and exotic customs. Black Americans also had their images drawn from cartoons, movies, and our history books that made them feel ashamed of their past and cut them off from any contact with Africa since that first dreadful voyage to the New World. I'm Hal Walker. This is the story of a return trip, a voyage to Africa by 3 young people who had never been there before. We filmed their experiences, the people they met, and their reactions. It's not a typical story. They're youngsters of differing backgrounds and temperaments. What they did share in common is that they are black. Their journey started in Washington, D.C. at the Ingram Congregational Church.
When we're talking about Negroes, there's one thing we talk about.
Black people, we have all learned now.
Well, black people.
Now, look, now we all know our heritage. So the Negro has fallen out. We are black.
Well, this is the name that people identify us with as Negroes.
No, it's whether how you identify yourself, not how anybody else identifies
well,
you.
You know how I identify myself.
I know by the way you say Negro.
Okay, what do you mean?
Every week, a group of students and dropouts, working teenagers and the unemployed came together, not for fun and games, but to discuss what black kids must discuss in this age of ours.
Let me ask you a question. Does anybody in here consider themselves free? Yes. You are not free until every black man in America is free. This is the thing people don't realize. Sure, you might be free, but until your brother...
Nobody's free. White people aren't free. You have white people in the ghettos.
We're not talking about white people in the ghettos or in Appalachia. We're talking about our people.
Well, then you have to combine them both. That's right. You're not searching just for freedom of the Negro, but freedom of man.
The discussion turned toward Africa.
It's not a disgrace. Welcome Africa, you know, because a long time ago, I guess 10 years ago, you know, when they call you black, everybody feel all bad and ready to fight and everything, you know. I mean, when they call me black, what the heck, you know, now don't, you know, I guess we're trying to break away from this word Negro anyway, you know, so black, it sounds good to me now. I mean, a long time when I was small, it sounded, you know, like I was ready to fight, tell the truth, somebody called me black.
the Negro is about the only race of people who accepted slavery so peacefully. And that Negroes are people who are really ashamed of themselves. And that the Africans believe that they're black and they're proud of being black.
You can't say that the Negro accepted slavery peacefully because it was the African that was enslaved first. And as it went on, then they were called Negroes and everything, and they really had no other choice but to accept slavery because they saw no other way to go.
They didn't know it then, but 3 of these youngsters were to leave for Africa within 1 month. Mattie Johnson, Gail Harris, and Stephen Adams. 17-year-old Mattie Johnson is a junior at Dunbar High School and is studying to be a secretary. Gail Harris is 17, a graduate of Notre Dame Academy, and is studying to become a fashion designer. Stephen Adams is also 17, attends Eastern High School. He expects to go on to college and major in psychology. On May 22nd, we followed these 3 young people to Ghana in West Africa. It would be an adventure, but it would be more than that. Or was there more than that? Was there anything in the past? And what about today? Do we have anything in common with them? More and more Black Americans are asking these questions. A people deprived of a past are on a voyage in search of that past.
That looks like the suburbs of Washington over there, maybe up in Georgetown or something.
Why Ghana? The great-great-grandmother of Gail Harris might have been a Fulani from northern Africa, known for their fine features. Mattie Johnson's great-great-grandmother may have been a Fanti, who were to lead many of the slave mutinies in the New World. Stephen Adams' ancestor could have been an Ashanti chief from the Gold Coast, today known as Ghana.
You don't like this one? I could. They can't speak English. I don't know what to do. But you do speak a little. Go to school for it?
And wherever they traveled, they spoke to Ghanaians of all ages.
Can you believe it? Can you believe I belong to the same race you belong to? Is it hard to believe?
On May 29th, they left for the Cape Coast Castle. Built by the Swedes in 1652, today it makes picture postcards for tourists, and children play among vestiges of its sinister past. It was a temporary prison for as many as 1,700 Africans, enslaved by the Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, the Danes, the Dutch, and the English. They were kept here while enough slaves were rounded up to make the voyage to the New World worthwhile. They came chained 2 by 2, left leg to right leg, from 1,000 villages and tribes. Some captives made forced marches of 500 miles to the coast, where they were examined like cattle. In the dungeon, the male and female slaves were kept separately.
This magazine and dungeons. Well, here they kept the female slaves. See? And they have to stay here for about a week waiting for the ship.
One trader wrote, "The Negroes were so loath to leave their own country that down the sea roam."
I've been there in welcoming our visitors from America.
On the Cape Coast at the Infantsipim Secondary School, our students had their first meeting with Ghanaian students and their teacher, Mr. A. Nicholson. None of these discussions was typical. More questions were raised than answered. But what Ghanaian and American did discover is that many centuries and thousands of miles could not be bridged without effort.
What benefit the African history you are interested in learning? Well, for one thing, this history will tell us where we come from. Because, before coming here, I think I had this basic stereotype, which is in America, of what you see on the Tarzan movie. That's basically it.
What do you think now?
I think this is a beautiful place.
How beautiful? Just how beautiful?
Well, for one thing, I'm glad to see that that the black man here has political power. Although as of yet, I see no economic power, but political power, yes.
We know that the condition of the African in America is not even that of a second-rate citizen. You can't even, what's the use of not being able to sit in a restaurant and have a food?
We can't sit
So
in a
what's the image
restaurant.
you're boosting?
We can't
You know what
sit in a
you imagine
restaurant.
or what is happening?
Just a bit. He told you that your condition was not a second-rate citizen in America.
Yeah,
You tell us that's not true.
that's right.
The man say you're not even free. Kennedy say you're not free yet. You're still a slave.
That was before he died. He's been dead for how long?
The condition in what? Listen, the condition in what that leads to the riots. Please remember that President Johnson's commission said that is white racism is responsible for all the upheavals, the injustices, the economic injustices and oppression. White racism and prejudice. You say that you can drink a Coke in any place. You're now fighting to get the right to drink a
I
Coke.
beg your pardon. We fought
And
to
you
get
can
the
drink
right.
anywhere.
We can get it.
To
You
get the
see,
white
if a
people.
man owns a store, if a white man owns a store, you can go into that store. I mean, he can't keep you out. The point is to get the service. How do you get the service? You get to that man's mind to make him know that you're just as good as he is. That's where the freedom comes in. The freedom to go into a restaurant, yes, but to be treated like anyone else. Equality along with freedom.
And you have equality now in
No,
America.
we don't. That's what we're fighting for now. We've got some of the laws, you see. Now we've got to go to the minds and get what goes along with the law.
Now let's go to the hearts of the white America.
That's right. You see,
Yes,
we're
you have to go and
established.
feel this heart.
Yes. You
that's
see,
good.
in the Bill of Rights, you have certain rights, you see. When it comes to us, they had to get another amendment for us to make us citizens. When all of us were born there, you see. So we have the laws now. We're citizens, first-class citizens, if you want to say that.
You're first-class citizens.
As far as the law is concerned.
But what is the law if it's not carried out?
Well, that's what
That
we're
is
trying to get it carried out. And the situation here is just as bad as the situation in America.
That's an insult to Africa. You are nothing in America, and you're made to feel nothing.
And families here. And we've noticed that there are servants,
Slaves.
yes, who to us are treated as slaves, you see. They're made to get up early in the morning.
From slavery in Africa, boys, please listen. Continue.
They're made to get up early in the morning, go to bed late at night. They work all day, you see. And we don't understand this, you see, because we've been fighting against this, against slavery. And this is what we consider, maybe not as the same form as it was in America. You know, you don't buy these people or you don't carry on a slave trade. But to us, this is a form of slavery. And wait a minute. This is Ghanaians to us enslaving Ghanaians, Black people. But we go back to America and we said, you know, they had slaves over. That's stereotyping. And you'd be insulted, wouldn't you? All of you, because we don't understand what's going on, right? Is that true? Come on, react to it.
React to you in a minute.
Okay. All right, now you explain it to me. But you remember that if certain things I see in Africa, at least I'm seeing them. I'm not reading about them. I'm seeing them.
But you can't equate this with what has been in America. You're telling us you found slavery here. It's a stereotype.
We didn't say we found slavery here. We said we think our viewpoint of a mild
Because you know
form.
what slavery is. This isn't slavery.
Let me ask you.
It's an insult to us again.
Well, tell us what it is. Don't tell us what it's not.
No, how can you say slavery?
Well, why are they treated this way?
Tell us what it is.
Are they not members of the family?
No, they're not.
Well, the African is by nature kind. You can have people in your house who aren't your relatives in any way, but you got enough food to feed them, look after them, or the rest. But you know, there's differential love between.
Serve you.
Not serve you.
That's what they're doing. They're servants or slaves. That's what we
aren't
think.
slaves. Well, you can look at it like that way if you want to, but they are not slaves. You know what slavery means, and this
Now,
is slavery.
wait, what you think?
All right, look here. Now, what you're talking about is slavery when there's a chain on your ankle and a whip on your back. Brother, that's not the only slavery you can get. And I don't know if you're going to get insulted by this or not, but the reason we're talking about now is to break away this. There's a whole lot of things that I might say to you that's insulting. That's wrong. There's a whole lot of things you could say to me that might be insulting. That's wrong. But the reason we're talking now is to get a mutual understanding between both of us. But see, we didn't have the slightest idea of how you thought before we came over here. Our moral support doesn't help you if you don't know your answer. That's the reason we're over here now, to bring those ties closer together. We have to obtain our freedom. We have to help build Africa up because this is our homeland.
At Senfi Village, Stephen Adams is installed as an honorary Ashanti chieftain. The ceremony begins as Steve presents himself to the chief. With a sword, he swears an oath of allegiance. I do swear that if you call me in the morning, afternoon, or evening, I will not turn my back. I will not tell lies, and I will be honest to my people. He is named Kwesi who returned. In Mother Africa, Steve began to learn the traditions of his people.
When I was installed as a chief, one thing I'm very proud that I was accepted by the Ashanti, and I know that this was a sacred ceremony which they were doing, and I was proud of it.
We have been told that we have offered nothing to the world, to 21 civilizations, and we offered nothing. And this has been deliberately fostered, this lie, so we cannot have confidence in ourselves. Africa gave the world mathematics. Africa gave had black skin, woolly hair. When Herodotus, when Volney, Count Volney in 1787, saw this with his own eyes. And he said, Herodotus was right. It is African people here. And to think that the people who gave the world its civilization, who gave it its religious and political systems, which now govern the universe. To think of these people who gave the world its art and science, and even the very use of speech. They are now despised for their sable, that's to say, black skin and woolly hair. I, as an archaeologist, know there's only one culture, human culture. All races have contributed to it. And I would like to see the day in which there's nothing shameful as race. This is the lesson I give to boys. I don't say to make them racist. We did not invent racism. My claim, you cannot be a man unless you know you have created history. You cannot be proud of your race. You cannot be proud of yourself if you do not know. You suffer. All Africans suffer. I have suffered and all Americans suffer because the face of our mother Africa had been given us something hideous.
Okay. Any comments on that? No comments? Okay, so like I was saying before, I don't know if anybody are familiar with it, but back in 2019, when they said the 400 years that was over, everybody started flocking to Ghana, saying the full circle. They had this every year now. They have this thing called the full circle. Well, we see this happened way back in 1960. And so, what you think they did it for? They plotting and scheming on us, knowing how to deal with us. So this ain't nothing new. Okay. All right. So if nobody don't have no comments, I'm gonna go to the topic. I'm gonna read out of Isaiah chapters 37 and 38 and 39. So, and my reason for reading it is dealing with Daniel and something that was hidden from the reader. Well, let me read it. So, and I'm shining a light on Hezekiah too, because Hezekiah had some issues, like a lot of us have today. But the light wasn't shined on it. I'm shining a light on it now. Okay, I'm in 37. So Hezekiah is coming to Isaiah to pray for him, right? So you have to ask yourself, why is he having them pray for him? So Isaiah 37, and it came to pass when the king Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes, covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Elohim, who was over the household, and Shetna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, unto Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amun, right? And they said unto him, thus saith Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is no strength to bring them forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear the words of Rehoboam, whom king of Assyria his master has sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. Okay. So the servant of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, thus shall you say unto your master, thus says the Lord, be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servant of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rebbe returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from language, and he heard say concerning Tanaka, king of Ethiopia, he has come forth to make war with thee. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, in whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hands of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the king of Assyria hath done to all the lands by destroying them utterly, and shall thou be delivered. Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my father have destroyed, as Goshen and Haran and Rezah and the children of Edom, which are in Telash. Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arphah, and the king of the cities of Seraphim, Hena and Ava? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hands of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed unto the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, that dwelleth between the cherubim, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Incline thine ear, O Lord, and hear. Open thine eyes, O Lord, and see, and hear all the words of Sennacherib, which have sent to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste all nations and their countries, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord, our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord, even thou only. Then as Isaiah the son of Amos sent unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, whereas thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, this is the word which the Lord hath spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, have despised thee and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem have shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed, and against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? By thy servants hast thou reproached the Lord, and have said, By the multitude of my chariots am I come up to the heights of the mountain, to the sides of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof, and I will enter into the heights of his borders, and the forest of Carmel. I have digged and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of the besieged places. Hast thou not heard heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass that thou shouldest be to lay waste defense cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of all power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green herb, as the grass of the housetops, and as corn blasted before it is grown up. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me, because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into mine ears. Therefore will I put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such as groweth of itself. In the second year thou wilt that which springeth up of the same. And in the third year sow ye, reap, and plant vineyards, and eat the fruit thereof. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escaped out of Mount Zion, the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he hath not come into this city. He shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shields, nor cast a blank against it. By the way that he came, by the same he shall return, and shall not come into the city, saith the Lord. For I will defend the city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Lord went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 145,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, that Adrammelech and Sharezer, his son, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Ashkelon, his son, reigned in his stead. So what I just read was that the king of Assyria came up sent his Lord of hosts to Israel, to Hezekiah, and told him that they was going to destroy the place. They was going to post up. They was going to set up that night all their tents with their armies and rejoice and be merry and drink wine. But in the morning they're going to come and destroy the place. And then not only that, they blasphemed the name of the Lord of hosts, not knowing he was right there. So anyway, he came and Hezekiah was worried. So the Lord came that night and he dismantled the Assyrian army, except for a few, and they left, went back to their land, and the Lord host of the Syrian army was killed by his sons. So we're gonna pick it up right here in 38. When Hezekiah got sick right after that, it says, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord and said, remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, go and say to Hezekiah, thus saith the Lord God of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thee days, 15 years. I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hands of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be the sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down. Then the writings of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness. And I said, in the cutting of my days, I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am deprived of this residue of my years. And I said, I shall not see the Lord, even the Lord, in the land of the living. I shall behold a man no more with the inhabitants of the world. Mine age is departed and is removed from me as a shepherd's tent. I have cut off like a weaver my life. He will cut me off with penny sickness from day even to night, without make an end of me. I reckon till morning, that as a lion, so will I break all my bones from day even unto night, without making end of me. Like a crane or a swallow, so did I chatter. I did mourn as a dove, mine eyes fell with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He have both spoken unto me, and himself have done it. I shall go softly all my years in the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So wilt thou recover me and make me to live. Behold, for peace I have great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of the corruption. For thou hast cast all my sins behind thy back. For the grave cannot praise thee, death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. The living, he shall praise thee as I do this day. The Father to the children shall make known thy truth. The Lord was ready to save me, therefore we will sing my songs to the strain of instrument, to the stringed instrument all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. For Isaiah had said, let them take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also had said, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? So we see right here, verse 38, Isaiah 38, that Hezekiah got sick and he was on his deathbed, but he cried and prayed to the Lord to don't let him die. So the Lord came and gave him 15 extra years to live, right? And this is what Hezekiah do right here. After all that the Lord had done, being 39, right? And at that time, Merodach Balaam, the son of Balaam, king of Babylon, sent letters. Babylon ain't came on the scene yet. They're still dealing with Assyria. So it says Hezekiah sent letters to and presents to Hezekiah. And he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. Now, and Hezekiah was glad of them and showed them the house of his precious things. See that? So now he's being puffed up. He's saying all this stuff is his. Let's look at it. Hezekiah was glad of them and showed them the house of his precious things. See, it's the Lord's stuff. The silver, gold, the spices, the precious ornaments, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor all his dominion that Hezekiah showed them not. So he puffed up, bragging about all the stuff that's in Jerusalem. Then came Isaiah, the prophet, unto Hezekiah, and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon, right? So this is why the Babylonians came, because he went and showed all these men. It's like a contingent, like an ambassadors that came there, and he showed them everything he had, showed them all that. So they went back and told the king of Babylon. So now they want all this stuff. So that's why they came. So it said, then said he, what have they seen in thine house? This is Isaiah talking to Hezekiah. And Hezekiah answered, all that is in mine house, it ain't his house, have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures, that I have not showed them. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord. Check this out. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house and that which is thy fathers have laid up in store until this day shall be carried away to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, said the Lord. Now here go the dagger right here that just jumped out. And thy sons, look at this, thy sons that shall issue forth from thee, from Hezekiah, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord, which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, for there shall be a peace and truth in those days. So this is a prophecy right here. So what I just read was, that's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel. They was made eunuchs in Babylon. Ain't that so? Read it again.
Oh, wow.
Ain't that something? So look at this. Isaiah 39 and 7. Of the sons of thy sons, because he was puffed up, of thy sons that shall issue forth from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. That's Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And that's something. And they took this understanding away from us because they tell you Daniel and Shadrach and Meshach was from royalty. Ain't that something? Let that permeate. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments or anything before we had let me see. We got about 10 minutes. Let me play this right here. See what you think. If you got any comments on this. Okay.
I can't hear anything. Can y'all?
No.
Brother Leonard, if you can hear us, we can't hear the video.
I've been hearing.
Can you hear now? Can you hear me?
Not good.
It's not right. It's not playing too good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you might want to close out your other tabs.
Yeah, I saw only one left.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so anyway, it's he getting released.
OMG.
What?
Yeah, he's getting released. So I was just gonna get y'all comments on that. What you think about him being released?
Wow.
So the case got overturned.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We know what that's about.
Okay. Yeah, so keep your eyes out on that.
Oh, and did you guys hear that that the U.S. supposed to be invading Haiti?
Who do?
The U.S.
Oh yeah, they already invaded. They already started.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. At this
Have
time.
you heard anything about Ukraine?
What about them?
No, I'm saying, have you? Last thing I heard was that Putin was getting ready to, take them off the map.
Yeah. That's to me, from me observing that, that's a number of propaganda from the U.S. They did the same thing with Saddam Hussein and the other guy from Libya. They got that's the way they operate. That's what a lot of those people have problems with them, because what they giving us over here. Them people looking at us crazy because they know that ain't happening. They lying and painting these pictures and taking the American the public in whatever direction they want them to go in.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Right. Exactly.
You're right, though. That's why I don't watch TV or the news, because it's all
Right.
propaganda.
Right. Yeah, I was saying. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. It's this alternative news source called Redacted. That's something good to watch.
Yeah, I watch them.
Right.
Yeah, they got a lot of good information.
Right. And the True News, that's pretty good. And then the one with Phil Smith, Phil, the guy, the black guy. I think it's African Diaspora News. That's good too.
Scott. I think his last name
Yeah,
Scott or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
Phil Scott from the Advice Show. Yeah. So everybody good?
Yes, Brother Leonard, I want to know if it's okay if I read a little something. Um, I'm not going to tie both of these in together, so maybe next week I can read the other one that I had. But tonight, I just felt as though it was good to read this.
Okay.
Okay, so I was thinking earlier this week, just about the Hebrew Israelite sisters and coming together where iron sharpens iron. And tonight I feel as though we did that a little bit with what I explained about the elderberry, and Renana explained about gardening, starting out small. So on Thursdays, we know it's women's night, and I think that we should do more of that. Iron sharpens iron, where we share information to help each other grow, because we got to rise in this walk also, not just our Hebrew Israelite men. So I wanted to read Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpen iron, so a man sharpen its countenance of his friend. Okay, so we know that when a sword has been sharpened, it shines more. And I think that we can help each other do that as Hebrew Israelite sisters. And I'm going to read one more, Malachi 3:16. When we sharpen one another, the Lord is pleased, and not one word about him which brings glory escapes his notice. So I was thinking on Thursdays, whoever's on here, can bring a little bit of knowledge to the table to share with all Hebrew Israelite sisters. Thank you.
Okay. That makes sense.
Hallelujah.
If anybody, if they, anybody want to volunteer, like I said, they can even take over reading the song. But
Right.
yeah.
Nothing is too big or too small. Just, bring it to the table.
Right. Right. And bring more questions. They'll be in for a better discussion. Okay. So everybody good?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom. Enjoy the class, and I'll see everybody tomorrow on Clubhouse at 8 o'clock. Shalom.
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 Shalom, everyone.